Hello, my name is Jeff Cordwell, and what I'd like to do here is just chat you through the key features of my Revision Plus course. Not all revision courses are the same, and I think there are one or two features here that are unique, and there's certainly many features that will benefit you in order to get you through this ACCA APM exam. A little bit about me and my hairy dog. I'm an ex-examiner for the ACCA many years ago, admittedly, but it's still current in terms of the way in which they operate, I'm sure. I was a director and tutor with Kaplan Financial for a long time, and that certainly forms the basis, if you like, of my experience. And the ACCA recognised that, I think, by asking me to do some train the trainer courses in Bangladesh, which is a very exciting place, Pakistan, and South Africa. It says there that I've got multiple prize winning students, and certainly that's true, including first in the world in March 2020, the wonderful Dominic Gibson. But I think my key skill probably lies in getting the marginal student through. It's all right getting prize winners, and that's lovely. But I often feel that prize winners would probably pass anyway. They're so bright. And what really matters to most people, I think, is if you're in the 40 to 50 bracket, just not quite passing. What you want from your tutor, I think, is someone that can help you pass. And I do feel as though, that's one of my key strengths to help people who are just off the pace a little bit. And I suppose also to reassure those that are just at 50, 55, that move them forward to make them safe. And I think I would say that's one of my key strengths in recognizing when people are just marginal and what they can do to improve and help them do that. Now, what I'm often asked, I suppose, is the course structured and timetable? People like to have some discipline forced on them to some extent, don't they? In that there's due dates and schedules and timetables, and they know what to do. And certainly, I agree with that. I think it's useful for people to say, right, this is what I've got to do this week. And of course, making that decision for yourself is entirely possible, but it's perhaps better for an expert to help you do that. There is still flexibility within this. The only thing that I absolutely insist on, I suppose, is that if you want something marked, there is a due date and they're on yellow on the screen for this example timetable. So Gundurg, for example, should be submitted by Sunday, the 4th of August on this particular timetable. And as long as you do that, I'll mark it for you. But within that, or out with that, should I say, you've got a little bit more flexibility, although this timetable is recommended clearly. Let's talk about it a little bit. What I provide you with is some due dates in a range. So Monday through Sunday, 22nd July, 28th July. This is just an example. Yeah, so a week to cover, the topics that are then mentioned to the right of that. So that everything's got a due date, and there's due dates lower down as well for the technical topics. The critical skills, I think, are really important. I think a lot of courses will and tutors will talk about justification skills and application skills and choosing a proper structure and evaluation skills. But I don't think all of the courses treat them with due respect. I don't think. I create a separate critical skills topic, and each of these critical skills videos exist, and there are notes and guidance to be better at time management, to be better at being able to identify embedded requirements. And I think certainly in terms of what's important in passing APM, you do need to be able to structure your answers, apply yourself, justify your points, be good at evaluation. And therefore, this revision course has a what I call a soft launch, an initial week, trying to focus on these skills. It's really important. Yeah, and they're all given due preference, if you like, on my course. The technical topics start after that, if you like, in weeks 2, and then go forward to weeks 2, 3, and 4, and 5, where I create topics on performance hierarchy, topics on non-financial models, for example, topics on budgeting fundamentals. And equally, as mentioned earlier, they've all got a date range in which to study. It is a fairly tight start. There's a lot to do in the first week because, in order to set a question, because questions are quite broad reaching, you have to cover a little bit more in the first week than you do in subsequent weeks. You can see the number of topics to cover diminishes as you go down the list to some extent. Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, everything's got a submission deadline when you've got submittable questions. I'll talk about how many questions there are, but you can quite clearly see on the screen there are 4 in this example, yeah, of different marks and different dates. And that's the only really tight deadline, or strict deadline, should I say, on this timetable. Within that, you can work at your own paces, although clearly there is, you know, guidance in terms of what you should be doing. Yeah, the mock exam, which is included in the course, is also given a date, so you know in advance from a planning point of view that you've got to submit that within the what I call the mock window. And on the screen there, you've got 21st of August to the 25th of August, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4-day window. And to be honest, if anybody wants to do it before that, I can make it available. Let's talk about the revision material. All material is basically on demand, and that's really quite important. It means you can watch it when you want. Yeah, you can watch it again and again if you want to. You can pause it. Yeah, and you can't do that in a classroom, can you? In a classroom, the tutor decides what they're going to do, and they'll do it once and they'll never repeat it. And I do think that online digital courses are superior in that regard. On demand video is fantastically useful. Yeah, and so much so you could pause an on-demand video and WhatsApp me whilst you're watching it and say, I'm just looking at this. Could you provide an answer? And I tend to reply to technical questions straight away if I'm at my desk, which is pretty much, quite common anyway, let's say that. These on-demand videos are supported by PDF notes, which are downloadable. And again, I think that's pretty unusual for a college, if you like FME, to do that. Certainly, other colleges do not allow you to do that because they're a little bit worried about copyright theft and so forth. We take the view that a student has bought some material and is entitled to it, and therefore they should be able to print it out, and you can do that. Revision materials I've already mentioned on the timetable include these critical skills. I do think these are pretty unique. My own perspective on how to justify, how you apply, what are your better structure choices, concrete time management tips. These things are given, due deference, very important, and they're very specific in terms of the advice that they give. Nothing, if you like, too waffly, focused stuff. Yeah, the technical topics have revision videos along with matching revision notes. And again, those revision notes are in PDF form. And again, they can be downloadable. In fact, the only thing you cannot download on this course is the video itself. That, I'm afraid, is protected, and I think you'd understand why that would be. Again, something unique on my course, I suppose, are these things called the topic in 10. Yeah, the topic in 10 is just my name, if you like, for the revision notes. But at the back of each topic, there's the 10 most important things to know. What must you know to be able to pass? And therefore, I produce a topic in 10 list at the back of each revision note. And that's certainly useful, I think, for last minute revision. Clearly, the revision material also includes exam questions with my own answers. I think the problem with the examiner's answers is they're too long, often poorly laid out, huge paragraphs, all the sort of things, interestingly, that tutors advise students not to do. So I write my own answers that are perfectly good, acceptable, strong passes, but they don't include absolutely every point you can possibly imagine because that's unachievable for most people. They're supported by video debrief, tips on technique, and so forth. And the exam question number is 16 on my revision course. Some people say, "Oh, is that enough?" Well, I think it is enough, but there is an exam kit of questions also supplied as a bit of a supplement, which has over 70 questions in it. You won't be short of questions on this course, that's for certain. What about marking and feedback? I mean, oh boy, this is important. And I do think there are two separate things there. Yes, we want to mark, and yes, it's nice if you pass. But to me, the feedback is far, far more important and useful to you. So in revision, I ask you to submit 4 full questions, 4 mock questions, yeah, to a timetable. Yeah, these are set as timed questions. That's really important. Time management is something that really a lot of people struggle with, and if they do their exam questions in preparation not to time, and then suddenly they're faced with a timed exam, it really freaks them out. So I set all my submittable questions as timed questions. They're all on TestReach, which is the ACCA's practice platform. That's also pretty unique. You don't get many colleges doing that. Reason being, it's quite expensive to do, but I believe it's important. You get familiar then with the word processor and familiar with the spreadsheet functions and familiar with the overall layout of the ACCA's practice platform, which mirrors the real platform. It's not identical apparently, but I can't tell. I can't tell the difference when I look at it. Yeah. So they're all marked these things, as I've mentioned, with feedback on points for improvement. I do work very hard to make sure your feedback is plentiful and your marking is reasonably accurate. I'm not playing games here. So the feedback will be in word form, so post-it notes on your script are marked within a particular platform called Moodle, and it deposits post-it notes, and also in a summary form at the end. But I also very often give voice message back to you to say, look, these are the things that I've noticed that you need to improve on. And I'm sure you'll find the feedback second to none, frankly. And I try and do that quickly. My view would be if you submit an exam question, you'd want it back quickly, and certainly that is the norm. Often within the day, I sort of guarantee within 2 days for the revision questions and 3 days for the mock. But it will often be almost immediate. I'm sat here with my team of markers ready, so when you submit, we mark, and you get feedback from me personally. The mock exam is included in the revision course, Revision Plus course. Yeah, it's set as a timed exam. Again, timing is so important to practice that. Again, it's on TestReach. Yeah, these are new questions. These are not ex-exam questions. You will not have seen them before, and I wrote them. As an ex-examiner, I feel as though I've got the credibility to do that. And as I've mentioned already, they're marked with feedback within 3 days of the closing date for submission. To be honest, if you submit early, it's almost certain to be marked early, and you'll probably get it back certainly within 3 days, and probably within 2 days is more normal. Yeah. The wraparound here, of course, is WhatsApp. I do think that WhatsApp was an absolute game changer in the education business when it came to being. Yeah, and you got direct contact, therefore, not to just anybody, but to me. Personally, I am your tutor in your pocket. I do create a WhatsApp study group so you can share ideas with other students and benefit from the answers to questions that other students ask. So you got massive support. And it's great, isn't it, WhatsApp? It's on your phone. You're not going to log on to a separate portal. You don't have to do any of that nonsense. And I do think that WhatsApp is absolutely brilliant from our point of view. Yeah. So that's my view, I think, of what the key features are of my revision course. And all that remains for me to do really is commend it to you. If you do have queries, please do reach out, to me, and I will answer them promptly.